Good evening, my name is Garrett and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Calmuet Farms. This is their small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey coming in at a 43% ABV, no official age statement. So Calmuet Farms is one of those bourbons that a lot of people love or hate. It seems to be the older they get, it tends to get a little bit better. But more recently, they had an 8-year, and it wasn't great for most people. It was not a solid bottle, and I didn't care for it either. However, I decided to give them another chance. I wanted to jump down to the small batch, and I do plan on covering more of their bottles in the future as well. But we do know a couple things on this one. They have a unique blending process of being small batch by saying it only comes from so many barrels at a time. We do know this is a blend of both 15 years and 8-year-old bourbon. So I've got some decent hopes for this one. We shall see. And as always, we're going to be trying it 2 different ways. First way, neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add a drop of water, see what changes up. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of good stuff. And I will link some other reviews that I've done from Calmuet Farms up above and down below when they are live. But yeah, the 8-year-old really let me down. So I bought this one at the same time as the 8-year, and then I actually bought more recently the 10-year. So I'm kind of already down the rabbit hole slide of them. So I'm hoping that the small batch here turns out pretty good. Now, to also let you know on the bottle shapes, they used to be kind of short, stocky, kind of round bottles, but they've changed to more of these wine-shaped ones. There could be some variations in taste because of the barreling process they do, but there's, essentially the same small batch concept from what I can see. Nice dark color to it for a small batch and not an age statement on there. Looks pretty good. So, let's start off. Let's go for notes. Smells like a good Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Sweet. Yeah, like a sugary wood sweetness. The oak is very prominent here. If you like an oaky bourbon, this is right up your alley. It's not like heavy-handed, but it's definitely got some oak in there. Bit of caramel and vanilla. Nice solid rye spice going on as well. It's not like heavy-handed in the rye notes, but there is some rye characteristics going on here. But it's a sweeter rye. A little bit of a pepperiness as well, kind of an earthy peppery note. But besides that, it's very classic, which is not necessarily a bad thing, being that this is kind of their intro to the Calumet lineup. So, yeah, well, let's go for taste. Nice oak layer in there. Little sweet, but not really much sweetness at all. Drink's a little thin, but it's not a bad thin. It's very classic. Got some good Kentucky straight bourbon notes in there, so you get that oak, vanilla, caramels, a little bit of that brown sugar sweetness. The rye spice that they used in here comes across really nice. So we don't know a mash bill from what I could find, but it's just got a nice rye layer in there. It's not complex. It's very approachable. And if you're getting into whiskey, this is a good starting point, at least from this taste right now. Honestly, not much changed here on the second sip. If anything, I would say that the oak layer in this is fairly prominent. And I'm guessing, obviously, that's probably from the 15-year-old side of things. But that's pretty solid. I would be interested to see if you could recreate this close enough with taking their 8-year-old, buy a bottle of their 8, buy a bottle of their 15, and take droplets of both and try to recreate this in a sip. I mean, again, the only criticism I truly have with this one is that it drinks a little thin. But again, that's kind of expected. It's only 43%. It is a blend of 2 different age statements. Most likely there's probably more 8 in here than 15. It just wouldn't make sense. But it's got all the flavors you're looking for. Solid brown sugar, vanilla, caramels, oak layer, spice, that little bit of pepperiness. I can't criticize it. It is a classic with just a little bit of that heavier oak note in there. It's not a super sweet, or it has a lot of sweetness layer to it. It's just got more oak than sweetness. but I don't mind that. That's pretty solid. Okay, let's add a little bit of water, see what changes up here. Not expecting a lot. Means that now we're probably going to be proofing it past that 40% ABV line. Just a half a drop there. I don't want to add a lot to this because I feel like it's going to really go very transparent here. Could be wrong. I love being proved wrong. So, let's go for notes. Definitely goes more transparent, and the ABV does kick up a bit. You get a bit of the brown sugar and oak layers in there. That vanilla showing up. Here I'm getting almost that black tea note that I find in some bourbon whiskeys, but I think it's more that rye spice playing with my brain. Here it just goes very transparent, very simple. Which again, if you're getting into whiskeys, that may not be a bad thing. Let's go for taste. Honestly, that's not bad either. It's got that, it actually, if anything, it pulls back on that oak layer. It's not as heavy-handed in that. Still get a bit of spice. Get that bit of pepperiness. The vanilla, caramel, and oak layers are very nice. But it does pull back on how heavy-handed that oak layer was in the neat version. Definitely speed runs those flavors quicker. And the finish is very quick. Oh yeah. This is a heavy-handed oak bourbon versus this. But honestly, I'm starting to like that even a little bit more. This is good, actually, though. And as always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. If you end up picking this up and you go, this is a little too brash for me, I'm just still getting into whiskey, add that drop of water. Do it. Make it palatable for you, and then work your way back up to this side, in my opinion. But that's not half bad. It's all right. So, all right. Let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. I was able to pick this up from Total Wine for about $50. And yeah, okay, I think that's an okay price. A lot of websites I'm seeing it go as high as like 54, 55, upwards to 60 plus. I don't think it's worth 60 plus. That profile is very classic, very simple. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like there's other things you could pick up for less money. Will I keep going down the lineup? Yeah. This definitely redeemed a lot of things that I didn't like about the 8. The 8 was just off. I don't know what happened with those batches, or if it's that year, it's just not as good. This, however, if I would have started off with this one, I would have been pretty happy. I think that, again, $50 is the top of the top. I don't think it's quite worth that. Probably more in the $45 to $43 price range would I feel comfortable at this one. But to be honest, I've had a lot worse. I've had better. It's an all right bourbon whiskey. What can I say? Just don't overpay for it. It'd probably be the big thing I'd recommend. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Calumet Farms small batch Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirit I should go looking for, also let me know down below. I love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.